K Energy Drinks holding us down here in the studio is Big Mad and yours truly, the Destin Legend, Leon Rogers. We got a full house today, man.
Hold on. If you have any comments, if you're watching right now, you can always hit us up. Hashtag Sports Unplugged, one word. Hashtag Sports Unplugged, or just Sports Unplugged. Put that in your tweet and we can see it and we can read it.
We got full house today. We got my man Keith Urquhart dressed like Donald Driver on his last appearance of Dancing with the Stars. You know, brothers start losing weight, they start wearing. We got one of the. We got the Manning's youngest brother in here with us.
We're gonna get one of our newest interns.
One of our newest interns. And then, of course, man, we got the legendary Tony Scholes going to be stopping by with us a little bit later on to talk all things hip-hop. But let's get right back to it. Chicago Bears fans.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to this season. I'm not looking forward to seeing the defense play.
And why is that?
Because they're old and they're going to be missing their star guy, I think, right out the gate, Brian Urlacher. Which brings us up to a column that Rick Tellender wrote in the Sun-Times. And Rick Tellender, hey, man, love his work for years. Great guy. When we see him at the Bulls games behind the scene, always a great guy, always sits and talks to him. But I kind of disagree. He thinks that the Bears should cut Brian Urlacher.
He brings up the topic. That's all he did in that. He just said he'd be an expensive cheerleader.
Chicago writers. He's an expensive cheerleader, but he's a cheerleader when on the field produces.
My
thing is, if you cut him, what are you going to replace him with? You have nothing at that position because you have not taken the time to draft a guy to let him learn behind Brian Urlacher like a lot of the other teams did. New England Patriots, when they knew Teddy Bruschi and those guys were leaving and the guy who ended up going to the Kansas City Chiefs, Vrabel, they brought in guys like Mayo. They brought in young guys to sit and learn the position. And I think the Bears have not done that. It's biting them in the ass now because they thought, at the end of the day, the way Urlacher has played the game, you thought he'd pull a Ray Lewis. You know, but Ray Lewis has been lucky. He hasn't really had any injuries that's kept him out.
Nothing crazy at all.
And we're talking about a guy, Brian Urlacher, who has been forced to cover a lot downfield. You know, a lot of running and injuries he's had have been nagging injuries that come back to haunt him. But I think if you cut him and get nothing for them, what do you come out doing?
Well, here's the question to you then, Leon. What you trade him? Who's in the trade for him?
I think somebody would. I think a
seventh round pick. You're not supposed to.
That's better than nothing. I think you could get fifth or sixth. I think you get fifth or sixth for Brian Urlacher.
Brian Urlacher that you don't know is going to play this year. Why would you trade for that when he's coming off the contract at the end of the year? Why would you trade for that?
Why would you cut him? And just eat a lot of money.
Not eating money. You're saving $7.5 million. If you cut him on Saturday,
but what are you going to use?
If you cut him by Saturday,
you're right.
If you cut him by Saturday, you can save $7.5 million.
You can save $7.5 million. So
it's a business, man.
I'm not done that. But what's at the end of the day, you still have no solution at middle linebacker. Nick Roach is not the answer. And I'm sorry, I love Nick Roach, great guy. He's not the answer.
I know.
He's
playing out of position.
Nothing there. Right. What I'm saying is,
and guess what?
Try to finagle something to try to get something.
Okay, so now you're paying $7.5 million, and there's still nothing there. That's my thing. So what's the difference?
If he doesn't come back, if he comes back and plays and has a good season, but
that's a $7.5 million gamble. Are you asking the Bears to take that $7.5 million?
We had before on less. 2 words, Rex Grossman. Get the hell out of here. And this is a guy who's been productive when he's on the field.
I understand
so
that.
I'm willing to, look, this is the one time where I might say I'm being a Chicago fan.
Okay.
I would take a gamble on that because this is a guy I've known has given us productive seasons at the middle linebacker position.
Now remember this. This probably won't be a Lovie Smith decision because if it was up to Lovie, Brian ain't going nowhere. Now think about this. This is a brand new GM.
Henceforth Rex Grossman.
Right. Brian, brand new GM. He has no allegiance to Brian Urlacher.
Got it.
So if you're the new GM, I can use the $7.5 million to go ahead and start working on this deal for Cutler.
But listen, you're saying this now because Brian is hurt. When this new GM came in, he knows Brian Urlacher's track record. You've seen the thing, so he obviously he could have pulled the trigger on a Brian Urlacher trade way before we even got to this. Way before we even and if you knew Urlacher had the surgeries last year, then why not make the move last year? Before we even come into training camp, why not already be talking to people to get Brian Urlacher off your books? Because you believe in him. Mm-hmm. The guy still believes in him. The guy still believes if Brian Urlacher comes back to play and he's healthy, he can still be a dominant force in middle linebacker.
We all know that. We all know that if he's healthy. But I'm saying,
so
why
not pull the trigger there earlier if you got doubts? You're speaking as a person. Okay, he's hurt now, so now it's an issue. It wasn't an issue before.
Here's the thing. Because they thought he'd be ready by the first day.
That's my point. They thought he'd be ready by the first day, which means is we like this guy. And Brian Urlacher at 75%, we'll take him over what we got backing him up.
I understand that, but the thing is, it had nothing to do with liking him. We understand we love Brian Urlacher. Brian Urlacher is one of the best linebackers we've had in a long time. Since Mike.
Right.
All right? We understand that. It's about can he play? Can he play? If he can play, then play. That's fine. But
so
he might not play.
He might not play the whole year, or he might not play 1 or 2 games to start the season.
Hey, look, the thing is, the reason why this is...
They said he might miss the first 1 or 2 games.
The reason why it's getting brought up, because we don't know how that knee's going to hold up,
But you didn't know that at the beginning of the year.
We thought that he'd be back ready by this point.
I'm not asking you what you thought. Mm-hmm. You did not know he would be able to play at the beginning of the year. It wasn't set in stone. You thought that, but it was not set in stone. It's just like Peyton Manning. Nobody thought like Peyton Manning's going to be able to play. Everybody's worried about the neck, right? But you're either going to go with it or you're going to say, hey, so now if Peyton Manning gets hurt in the middle of the year, now is it just like, okay, well, we got to cut him? Because, we don't know if he's going to come back. But he's too good of a player that if he does come back, he can stick it to you if he goes somewhere else. So what I'm saying with this is all I'm saying. Fine. If you want to cut Brian Urlacher, fine. But my thing is, you knew about his injuries. You knew about the knee. You knew about the surgeries more than anybody else. And you still allowed it to get this far. Mm-hmm. If I had doubts about it, if I knew his knee was messed up, I'd have been shopping him last year and got something for him before he even went and did all the surgery.
But think about this. You brought up Peyton Manning. That's exactly what the Colts did.
That's what they
cut him. Now, I understand they
starting quarterback, and they knew they were getting the
number 1 pick.
Exactly.
Right. But we
told her that was a perfect storm.
I understand.
That was an anomaly.
I understand, but I'm saying the Colts did do that.
It's like the Bulls getting Derrick Rose.
Right, that.
Cleveland getting LeBron James.
But
sorry, Dave.
But it's one of the things. It's one of the things that I've said before about if we go to basketball, and I said, the Miami Heat should trade Dwayne Wade. I know people have killed me for saying that.
No, I believe it, but do it now. Don't keep bringing him back, trying to milk what you can out of him. Then when he goes down, all right, let's cut him. Get rid of him then. Make the decision. Pull the trigger. If that's what I'm saying with Brian Urlacher.
So basically,
you knew Brian Urlacher knee was messed up last year.
Right.
You knew it.
Right.
You knew he had to have surgery. Okay.
Okay.
So now as a GM, I'm like, you know what?
I mean, they've said a lot because he was looking for a contract extension and they didn't give him one. So they're saying
right then and there. So pull the trigger. Why you didn't pull the trigger
as another team, why the heck would I take him if he's damaged goods? That's my thing. So you might as well just cut him.
So why you didn't cut him last year?
So you mean cut him right after surgery?
Why didn't you cut him last year? If that's the logic, if you're saying another team wouldn't take him, right? Because one team's trash is another team's treasure. We see that all the time in the league,
right?
And I'm not saying Brian Urlacher is the same Brian Urlacher years old. I get that, but if the worry is so much about him coming back now, and you're dealing with the same issues he had last year, then why not enact all of this stuff last year? And we're not even talking about it right now. We're talking about the new linebacker trio led by Lance Briggs.
Right.
So you obviously go out and get Geno Hayes and all these guys. Nobody has had a solution. You haven't even got the weak side covered yet.
Because the weak side linebacker is playing middle linebacker. That's
exactly.
That's the problem.
And then the backup to the weak side linebacker. So I'm worried about the Bears' secondary more than anything. I really think their front seven is going to be okay at the end of the day.
Right.
But my whole thing is, I
already said this, man. The Bears without Brian Urlacher, that's going to be a problem.
Prove him wrong, Lack. I'm in your corner, man.
He better come back.
You had your baby mama dropping your child off at a toll booth. You a real cat. Don't nobody remember that. Brian Urlacher like, I don't want you over my house. Meet me off 294 at the Ogden, at the Hinsdale Central rest stop. Drop my baby off and then get on about your way. And she was bad too. Man, you picked it right. You picked it real right. But man, you had your baby
Jenny
mama.
McCarthy. Yeah, he been on the roll.
You had your baby mama. They broke up now. They broke up.
Yeah, no,
He got hurt. She left.
I said head. Yeah, he got hurt. She cut him.
Out, G.
She cut him.
She cut him. Yeah, she cut him a lot more though too. That's a cut I take. He got to ride that highway a couple of times before she broke out.
Don't like remix.
Hey man, Chief Keef. Don't like remix. Kanye West, the Good Music Family, right here on Sports Unplugged. I'm sorry, look at me. The SK got me talking crazy.
Hashtag Sports Unplugged if you have any comments.
See y'all.
Fraud, y'all, that's that shit I don't like. Yo, this make believe.